In the musical renaissance that was the 1990s, a decade that is perhaps most diverse in all of pop cultural history, Rage Against the Machine are recognized as one of the greatest. Their influence in the musical landscape stretches from their inception to today in a way that only their contemporaries Nirvana, Dr. Dre, Radiohead, and even Alanis Morissette, I'd say, were able to. And with only 3 albums released, and arguably a 4th, they remain a point of fascination. While other acts had melded hip-hop and heavy metal influences together before them, no one had committed to it like they did. And they go on to influence other popular bands of the same fusion later on in the same decade. They're also sorry they all suck too. In the world of rap metal, where Kid Rock is Grandmaster Flash and Limp Bizkit were the Sugar Hill Gang, Rage Against the Machine were Public Enemy, with each song being a scathing tirade of political angst and frustration. Every lyric a battle cry for change and progression, a mantra for people to make a difference. And it's because of this I feel that Rage are, more than other crossover bands, able to appeal to heavy metal purists like they do, who are normally repulsed by other genres. Rage's ability to merge these influences is due in part to frontman Zach De La Rocha, who mixes a hip-hop delivery with a punk rock performance. Even though he's rapping, he asserts himself with this thick sense of urgency to what he's talking about. His rapping isn't for them to have a different sound, it's more of an extension of their political sensibilities. And of course, there's Tom Morello, a 6-string madman who doesn't use his pedals and effects as a gimmick. It truly is his style, and he's a real point of interest for virtuoso musicians. If Jimi Hendrix and Jimmy Page had a child that would be raised by 2 parents who would argue over which is better, heavy metal or punk rock, that kid would grow up to be Tom Morello. And Tim Comerford and Brad Wilk have a tight rhythm section akin to Bill Ward and Geezer Butler of Black Sabbath, with a strong funk influence. Together, these 4 men created music that was harsh and angry, but with a point to it. And these guys are all about what they preach. When they say it, they mean it. Except for the whole anti-big corporation thing, because I mean, they are signed to Sony, but what are you gonna do? There's a great Rolling Stone issue where Zach discusses how being a Mexican-American in an all-white high school got him interested in politics. He recalls during a teacher's lecture, he was describing one of the areas between San Diego and Oceanside, De La Rocha says, and as a reference to this particular area of the coastline, he said, "You know, that wetback station there." And everyone around me laughed. They thought it was the funniest thing that they ever heard. I told myself, he says, that I would never be silent again. I would never allow myself to not respond to that type of situation in any form, anywhere. The article ends with him concluding that every revolutionary act is an act of love. Every song I've written, it is because of my desire to use music as a way to empower and rehumanize people living in a dehumanizing setting. The song is in order to better the human condition. Every song that I've ever written, he concludes without a drip of irony, is a love song.
This song is about being an individual, about searching and finding new information and using your strength as an individual to attack systems like America who continue to rob and rape and murder people in the name of freedom. And this song is called A Bullet in Your Head.
We're proud to be extremists. You don't use a moderate medicine to cure an extreme illness. And so both in our music and in the message, that extremism I think is very positive and necessary.
2 of my all-time favorite lyrics come from the track off of Evil Empire, Down Rodeo, with the pre-chorus reciting, "Make a move and plead the 5th, cause you can't plead the 1st. A grueling maxim referring to our amendment rights, before launching into the motherlode. So now I'm rolling down Rodeo with a shotgun. These people ain't seen a brown-skinned man since they grandparents bought one." It's such a perfect example of how powerfully and beautifully harsh they can be. Lyrically, Zach stands shoulder to shoulder with politically enticed hip-hop greats like Chuck D and Ice Cube. And Rage never did a slow song or would write for the radio. The message means more to them than what sells. Tom Morello stated in the aforementioned article, "If we were just singing about driving with the top down, this band would have broken up a long time ago." It's safe to say that Rage in their 9 years are unmatched by almost any other musical act in how driven they were by politics. Whether it was benefit concerts for a cause or some crazy shit they did that we're not exactly gonna go into, they were all about what they said. After 9/11, and a year after they disbanded, Clear Channel Communications issued a list to over 1,200 stations that they owned of songs that they prohibited from playing out of respect for the victims. It was mainly a handful of tracks from various bands, understandably so, like System of a Down's Chop Suey, Bob Dylan's Knocking on Heaven's Door, or Foo Fighters' Learn to Fly. Yeah. But what they also wrote wrote was any song by Rage Against the Machine. This just shows how they continued to stir in the political landscape, even after breaking up.
Brothers and sisters, just a couple things we want to say right quick. A couple things. Rage Against the Machine is a band that has never advocated violence. We've always advocated a direct opposition to unjust wars like the one started by John McCain and the Republicans and Bush and all of them. That's why we're here today, to stand in peaceful opposition. In honor of that peaceful opposition, we wish that the police and the state here in Minneapolis would do the same thing.
Damn right.
People take to the streets.
Damn right.
And the reality is, we're just four musicians from Los Angeles who have used our voices and our talent and our musicianship and our words to stand up against these unjust policies. And why the fuck are these cops so afraid of us? Are they afraid of us? They're not afraid of four musicians. They're afraid of you.
We need this. We don't need more reunion tours. We don't need to make their classics become #1 hits. We don't need the same message in other incarnations. We need this. We need these four men to make new music. Sure, I've said it'd be nice to hear new stuff from System also, but that's a luxury. This is a necessity. The political climate in America, in the world, has reached something ungodly. Sure, things have always been fucked up. We should be used to it at this point. But it's not acceptable to us as a species. Between ISIS, social justice warriors, Donald Trump, Gamergate, Black Lives Matter, political correctness, the riots in Baltimore, everything. We need this. We need something loud. We need something heavy. We need something angry like we are. We need something to express that anger in a way we can all feel and agree with. We need a new mantra to the same problems. We need something that will reach out to people from all genres, from other experiences, from other perspectives, and bring everyone together to chant to the masses, chant to the powerful, and chant to the corrupt that we are angry. We need change. We need something that has a point. We need something unflinching, uncompromising, understanding, and undeniably uniting and powerful and inspiring. We need Rage Against the Machine.
What do you all think about that?
Well, I mean, bad presidents make for good music. I mean, that's something that's crystal clear. And I think that you have only one responsibility as an artist, and that's to tell the truth as you see it. And you shouldn't expect sort of non-political people to pretend they are. But I think that the reason why you're seeing this, this constant influx over the course of the last 18 months of artists speaking out is because they're really pissed off. Not because artists are pissed off, everybody's pissed off. Yeah. It was the worst administration in the history of our country, both domestically and internationally. We've got a war criminal in the White House. We've got civil liberties rolled back here. Gas prices are at an all-time high. And the environment may not be there for our children in their old age. There's reason, artists write songs about it. My hope is that beyond artists writing songs about it, that, students stand up in their campuses, that carpenters do it through their carpenters union, that people, in whatever their vocation is, let their voices be heard.